on CensorTube. Okay, cool. CensorTube is live. And let's check it out. Is there feed going into? And Rumble is live. Very good, very good. Hi everyone, this is Chicho. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another live stream. Today is October 28th, 2024, and we're doing a live stream open discussion on anything we want. Okay, on anything we want. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this live stream. I hope you are having a fantastic Monday. Salute the real xenomorph. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a quick little intro while we wait for people to roll in, notifications to go out. If you want to know what this work is about, I am on Patreon, patreon.com/Chicho, CHYCHO. We're also on Substack and Subscribestar. Salutations, Chicho on chat. Salute xenomorph. We do have a matrix space. You're definitely welcome to join our little community, growing one at a time. Hopefully this will be our permanent home after 3 iterations of having forum for us to share information. We are live streaming on Twitch, on Rumble, on BitChute, and on CensorTube, so you can join us on those live streams, those platforms if you like. We are recording this on a lapel mic, and we will upload this audio to both SoundCloud and Substack as podcasts, and those podcasts should be available on your favorite podcasting platforms. We're on Twitter, we're on Minds, we're on BK, we're on True Social, we're on Substack Notes, we're on Gab, and we're on Getter. Lark Bark, how are you doing? Salutations, hope you're doing well. You can definitely follow us there. For those of you that are joining our live streams, thank you very much for being here. Salute. And as always, I don't think there's mods here yet, but they will pop in. Salute to the mods that are joining us or will be joining us and taking care of business. This is Britain on CensorTube. How are you doing? Salute. I'm going simple today. Big glass of water, very nice, and some bread, sourdough bread with I forget what these are called, these seeds and carol, something like this. Oh god, how are you doing? Carol, I don't know what it's called. These seeds, I have no idea how to focus. Hold on. I forget what these seeds are called. Bruce was salty, Chicho. I like water and bread. That's one of my staple to go to foods, right? Doing G Garn V Vigorani. Check this video out, dude. Vigorani, you can't post links. Only me and mods can post links. Thanks for trying, though. What was the video of? My partner, this one isn't homemade. We bought it from a bakery, but my partner makes sourdough, and she's amazing at it. Like the best sourdough ever. Favorite pizza? Mushroom pizza. I like fungi pizza. Oh my god, no links, only me and mods, and that's just to keep people safe from phishing scams, right? Aside from that, gang, welcome to another live stream. A lot of stuff going on in the world, amazing stuff going on in the world. Geopolitically, we're seeing one war winding down to a certain degree, and another bigger one kicking up in the Middle East. Israel seems to be in deep poop. We didn't see that coming. Of course we did. Anyone with half a brain saw that coming but unfortunately they're controlled by fanatics, and they will keep on pushing. I don't think the acts of resistance should let up on them, personally. Lark Bark, hello. Salutations, Lark Bark. This is Britain. Bread and water. Are you rehearsing for the fascists coming and dragging you off to prison for farting without permission? In Canada, possibly. Might as well get my body used to, and I'm pretty sure in prison they won't give you fantastic bread like this or clean water like this, right? So it is what it is. Areg, salutations on CensorTube. Hope you're doing well. Elder Tommy Robinson got 18 months in prison in solitary confinement. Just now? Today? Like he got that today? For what? What was it for? The UK is not crazy tyranny. Canada is following suit, right? The Commonwealth of tyrants, right? Craziness. In prison, in solitary confinement. I wonder why. Did he say something bad about Israel? A flying Kiwi, salutations. Thank you for subbing. 3 months. Salute. I hope New Zealand is treating you well if you're down there flying away. Appreciate the sub though. Thank you very much. Vigarni, Garani. I gotta pronounce that. Vigarani. It was a video of a guy saying how if you eat mandarins, it's impossible to fall into a depression. I don't know. Eat good food, sure, why not? But not all mandarins. Jimmy John, non-CensorTube. Greetings from California. California or Canada will have an N at the end. So California, salutations to Cali. Hope you're doing well. Chicho streaming from the bridge. Yeah. Real Zimmo. He loved Israel very much. Well, what did he get solitary confinement for? This is Britain on CensorTube. Yes, he admitted breaking a law, but not enough to get 18 months for. What law did he break? What law did he admit to breaking? I wonder if it was part of a plea deal. Must have been part of a plea deal. Yeah, maybe. Lark Park. The UK hates Tommy Robertson. The man is fighting for England's freedom. The man is fighting for England's freedom. However, he is also a tool of the Zionist fanatics, right? So he's a little confused, Tommy Robertson. Like Elder God, we had this little thing on Matrix yesterday. I basically said, too bad he's a Zionist puppet, and Elder God is saying Elder God posted something. He was also saying that Western world should also protect the Armenians because Azerbaijan was genociding Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenians, and were what do you call it, destroying tombstones, like stones, cemeteries that have been there for hundreds of years, right? And Tommy Robertson came out in support of Armenia. However, Tommy Robertson also went to Israel in support of Israel, right? So he is on that front as well. And Elder God pointed out that he believes that it's a conflict between Christianity and Islam and stuff like this. And I can see where that's coming from because, you know, mass migration of people from Islamic nations that the Western world has destroyed, and they're finding their way there, plus more, right? A lot more stuff than that, right? But Robinson doesn't understand that him supporting Israel is totally in conflict of him supporting Armenia. Why? Because Israel had a huge part to play in genociding Nagorno-Karabakh, the Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, by supporting Azerbaijan with weapons, with logistics, with training. They had IDF agents and Mossad agents on the ground in Azerbaijan. So he's on one side saying, look, Azaris, the Muslims are destroying Armenian tombstones and graves that have been there for hundreds of years, and they're genociding the Christian population. But he doesn't understand that Israel had a huge part to play in that, right? So he's in conflict. It doesn't mean he should go to jail for doing something that should have been maybe a ticket, right? However, there's a lot of people that are being used as tools of the Zionist state to create conflict between different factions of the human population, right? What is Elder God saying? Elder God, because I brought up Elder God, I gotta read Elder God's comments to this because I get to talk. Elder God knows he has to text. Solitary confinement to be safe from Muslim gangs in prison. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, okay. And then also Elder God, British far-right political activist Tommy Robinson has been jailed for 18 months after he admitted to being in contempt of court by repeating false accusations about a Syrian refugee, according to court documents. Not fault accusations. Is that the one where the stabbing of the kids, that 3 kids got stabbed or killed in UK, and he came out and said, oh, it was a Muslim immigrant that did or something, or migrant or whatever, but it was actually a UK born Sudanese or Ethiopian nationality or something, and they were Christian, so it would have been Ethiopian, I think. Oh, or I don't know, I can't remember which one it was. For that one, because he was sharing information that he came across. The gentleman you're talking about is not very bright. Is that what it was? Religion doesn't matter as much. Look how Azerbaijan is licking Zios against their. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah, it makes sense if they don't give a rat's ass about what do you call that? Elder God, no. In 2021, a British boy attacked a Syrian schoolboy. Oh, okay. Okay, so if they're kids, if they're one-on-one fighting, was a fight, why did he get involved? A flying Kiwi Chicho is asking, Chicho, are you religious? I'm spiritual. I don't belong to. I'm Armenian, first Christian nation in the world. I've been to Armenian churches a lot. Blah blah blah. I've been to Zoroastrian chapels, synagogues, mosques. Spiritual. But I don't practice any organized religion. I'm against organized religion in large part because I'm against centralization of religion, put it that way. I have meditated in the past. I have right now. I haven't been meditating for last year because I've been really crazy busy. It's a time I should be meditating, but I haven't been with family and whatnot. So yeah, I have a fair bit. Okay. Hard to pronounce. I don't know why. On a brighter note, did you see SpaceX caught that rocket with chopsticks? I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the video. The booster coming back. I've seen something similar to it before. I'm just gonna go back to CensorTube, read some of the chat, get caught up with it. Regular law. Sorry to confine it. Evening pal. LB19 salutations. How are you doing? This is Britain. They let over 1,000 more criminals out every early last year. I wonder why they need the room. Haha. For dissidents. That's why, right? Cameron, July 2024. Quote: Robinson was due to appear at the court accused of contempt of court for making a documentary which repeats false claims he made about a Syrian refugee that led him losing a libel case. End quote. Okay. But if it was 2 boys fighting, kids fighting, he shouldn't have made it. Not that he should serve time. What, you don't make it about religion and ethnicity if there are kids fighting. I don't know if there were kids or not. Cameron, it was from a doc he made from 2021. Okay, this is where no, it's about a bullying thing at school. Okay, this is where I'm spiritual. I'm a Gnostic, baby. Classic Zionist. Elder God, it went viral. The British boy was threatened by Muslim gangs who wanted his life. Stupid. But the Syrian boy was a bully who threatened to do things to the British boy's sister. Crazy. crazy. How old were the kids? How old were they? I have met many Syrians. Cameron, no false claims. Yeah, I've known Syrians. I have Syrian friends. I have had Syrian friends. We'd still be friends if we saw each other, but we haven't seen each other for years. Yeah, you know what? Identity unknown. So they must have been kids. Now, if he made a documentary about two teenagers fighting and bringing race minus 16, yeah, that Robinson's idiot, right? Should he serve time in jail for that? No. But if he's making a documentary about like kids fighting, that, and putting blame on religion on that front and stuff, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. Do you rip ayahuasca? I haven't done ayahuasca. I've experimented with salvia divinorum and fungi a lot. I just haven't been into the rituals. In Canada for a long time, anyway, when I was into the entheogens and stuff, they had to associate it with some kind of Christianity or something like this, and I didn't want to get involved with that. John's like, hey Chicho, hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. Doing very well. Baby nice. Hey Chicho, I've been hearing that most cryptocurrencies will skyrocket after US election. Do you know something about that? No, I don't. No, I don't. And anything's game after the US election. I wouldn't count on every crypto skyrocketing, that's for sure. Bidin sucks. First time chat was asking about ayahuasca, and it would say 10 out of 10 would recommend. Yeah, for sure. I know many people that have done ayahuasca many times. Some have even hosted rituals. I just haven't what do you call it, haven't done. Realism with the youth tends to be reckless and ignorant. Yeah, for sure. Elga, the British government asked him to remove documentary from all his sites. I downloaded it for future uploading. Hey, is it a short documentary? Can you upload it to us on Matrix? Oh my god. If it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I'll watch just to get a idea of what he did. But I'm not into watching a 2-hour Robinson documentary, that's for sure, or even an hour one. I just want to see the incident, why they went after him, right? Who would rather see win this election? Who I would rather see win this election? Which one, Canadian or US? Oh my god, guess where Tommy is being imprisoned? Belmarsh. Belmarsh must be Belmarsh. Damn, it's long, but I can cut, or just put a point, put the timestamp on it. Oh my god, where it is, or link it to me somewhere. This is Britain. Tommy investigated loads of stuff to do with it. He had proof that teachers were paid to keep quiet and stick to a narrative. That's what the whole thing was about, claimed Robinson. Okay, I would have to watch it to get an idea, but really, once kids are involved, you gotta be careful. You can't demonize kids on that front. If your son was being attacked, bullied by a piece of shit, no matter what their religion, if it's family, you have the right to be involved. But if you're coming from an outsider, you can't do that. Like, there's a legal precedent that you can't release names of kids. That's, and I agree with that. John's like, salvia is my favorite entheogen. Nothing can beat it, at least for me. John's like, salvia is a great ally, one of my greatest allies. So Parker on CensorTube. Housing prices are out of control in California. How can young Californians buy a house anymore? Wait till the correction, right? Because it's coming, right? And this is by design. Most totalitarian governments, especially in a certain slant, may it be fascist or communist, they tend to like their populations impoverished. That way they're dependent on the government to for sustenance, right? That's what they're doing in BC, Canada as well. That's what they're doing in California, right? Elder God, he screened the whole documentary in London in July. It's what did it. Oh, that's why. See, he should have done a little bit more research, found out that London is actually its own entity. It's not governable by under the UK law. They have their own laws. So it's a city state, just like Washington DC and the Vatican. So maybe there's a catch there involved with it, right? I'm still confused how a Syrian child sued a British citizen. I think the state, I think once it's a kid, then the state can get involved and do things on behalf of the child. I think that's the way it works in Canada. It's just crazy. Once kids get involved, don't get involved. End of story. Warm and loose, is that the rain? You mean the bang bang gung gung, the sounds you're hearing? No, that's what I've been mentioning for the last few months. Construction beside us. So and I'm doing the live stream here because I was already set up here and stuff like this. Some days they don't make too much noise. Today they make a lot of noise, right? So, or some noise. It's not even a lot. They can make a lot more. It's just background noises, right? It's just background noises. Did you hear it? Boom boom, dun 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 dun. It's crazy. They're lifting up a house, gutting it. The owners that bought it, I went up to them. I go, are you guys sure you want to do this? Like, you're dumping a lot of money into this thing before they even began construction. I go, we're housing market is rolling over, like. And the guy was like, they're senior citizens, they're going to retire here, they're close to a hospital. They're like, yeah, we know we'll never get our money out of this house. We're just doing it because this is where we're going to be. I'm like, okay, right? Crazy. Warm and loose could be your phone speaker, but there's dum dum dum. It's not that bad today, actually. There's been times where it was crazy. There was a few days they were doing blasting. Clear, whistle will blow. Insane. Yeah, Elder Goss says it. Investment near a hospital is always good, unless you live in Gaza and Israel blowing up your hospitals, right? Or Beirut, where Israel blows up hospitals. So, word to the wise, or word from the wise, or here's some investment advice, right? Be careful of Zionists. Okay. End of story. They'll shit on everything, right? Even one of the most fundamental investment advice that you can give to anyone, which is what Elder God said: investment near a hospital is always good, unless Zionists fuck it up for you, right? Warm or loose, my bad. Twitch was had some ASMR running in the background that day. Those guys that have any standing hospitals left? I don't think so. I think they took it all down. They burned people alive in front of the last remaining hospital, and I think they took it down. I think so anyway. If there's only one that's half operational, and Israel burns people alive in front of that hospital, the patients. Wow. Oh wow. I hope you guys remember these times, because it will be discussed for decades and documented for centuries. It will be, this period right now is one of the most important periods in human history. Equivalent to what? Equivalent to what? You could go all the way to biblical, to Sodom and Gomorrah. What's happening right now is equivalent to Sodom and Gomorrah. And every other important period in human history. So, or human mythology. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Count yourself lucky you're not the victim of the Zionists, but if you do not do what's right and stand on the right side of history, you can bet your ass that if you're a religious person, you're going to be burning in hell for eternity. Might as well go biblical. This is where you should have a goldfish swimming around in that jug. It's a great jug. I like it. These are great for beers. You put them in the freezer, let them get all frosty, pour a beer in there. Delicious. Miss Balloon Hands, I hope you're doing well. Salutations, salutations. Elder God, I'm going to commit treason the 5th November, making us Starmer straw man to burn on the fire. Hilarious, hilarious. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Funny, funny, funny. That's funny. I can tell you a story that no, I won't tell you a story on that. Might not go over well on Twitch, on CensorTube. Craziness, craziness. What else? What else? Gang, I've picked up some comics. We're gonna do a comic haul. Probably maybe next weekend. Maybe Friday. Maybe. But on Friday we might do a comic book reading. We'll see. Use reference. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What else is going on? Israel's strike on Iran. Supposedly they were going to do 3 waves of attacks, and after the first wave, they realized that Iran's defenses were extremely powerful and they couldn't penetrate. So I'm guessing they called back a lot of their fighters. They weren't able to hit any major bases. Unfortunately, like 2 or 3 people, Iranian soldiers, were killed. And we'll see if Iran retaliates. In my humble opinion, enough time should not be given to Israel or the United States and the UK and the backers of this genocide, of what's happening in the Middle East, of this aggression towards World War III and progression towards World War III. I don't think the acts of resistance should give Israel or the United States any breathing room. Not that I'm pro-war, pro-violence, but I think if they're allowed to adjust their attack based on the defenses that they're facing, then it's going to continue to escalate to a nuclear level, to almost a nuclear level. What nuclear level, right? I think if the acts of resistance hits hard, fast, hard, relentless, because that's what you need to do, bullies. If you ever encounter a bully, this is my personal experience, you do you, I do me, but my personal experience is that if you ever encounter bullies and you have no choice but to confront them, you annihilate them. You go fucking ape shit on them and make sure they go down on their knees and they do not get up, and they remember that event for the rest of their lives. And that is exactly what needs to happen to Zionist Israel. Otherwise we're going nuclear. Okay, it's the same sentiment that Paul Craig Roberts has, by the way. Okay. Parker Rizzo, I'm a comic book collector of 45 years. What is your favorite work? Mine is Love and Rockets. Yours is Love and Rockets. I still don't have Love and Rockets, the original series, the number ones. It's like some issues later on in the teens or 20s or something like this. Teens, I think, but I don't have number 1. I've been looking for it, trying to pick it up, but too expensive. But it wouldn't be Love and Rockets for me. One of my favorite pieces of all time stories of all time is Slaying the Horned God by Pat Mills and Simon Bisley, that first appeared in 2000 AD, I believe, and then was published in I think it was Dark Horse or another company. They made it in the magazine format, and I have that collection. So Slaying the Horned God was amazing. Jack Slice, how are you doing? Do 100 push-ups every day, spread them out, do one at a time, just don't go to sleep until you count 100. Hey, why not? That's a good way. Elligott, a popular politician, wood and a match. Not Castro's son. Warm and loose, off topic, but I spent 4 hours making Swedish meatballs today. Nice, organic. I know you love your snacks. Yeah, that sounds really delicious, better than the bread I got, but this is really good. I like this. Caraway, is this caraway seeds? What do they call these seeds? Caraway seeds, like a sourdough with these seeds in it. Caraway, I think it's caraway. It's super good. And this is the last of the sourdough, so I broke it up and just snack on it. All right, it's just amazing. Warm and loose. If you had to label your personal religion, what would it be? I don't know, and I'm into the entheogens. Chichonian. I don't know. Sleepy wave. How would the U.S. market react to World War III? I'm annoyed the U.S. is a war economy, and Wall Street will do well if we go to war with Iran. There's different scenarios. Martin Armstrong says when there's war around the world all over the place, money floods into the United States because it's a safe haven. You don't have tanks running into the streets. But the United States is about to go into a civil war as well, right? No matter what happens with the elections. So there's going to be major turmoil in the United States. Is it still going to be a safe haven? It's safer than Europe, that's for sure, right? Safer than the Middle East, right? So is there tons of money going in? He also mentioned that a lot of investors are going to be pulling out of government bonds and going into the private sector, so that might give the stock market a boost. But the stock market is in a bubble right now, right? Everything's overinflated. So when poop is the fan, is it just going to crumble? Are they going to go to silver or gold? It's a complete unknown right now, right? However, if there is major corrections, then the odds are it'll shoot back up again. But we'll see. Elligott, beating the bullies is my specialty. My religion is easy. What a money is that money? Oh my god, hilarious. And this is brilliant. Today I found out I used to live near and personally know Jim Backey, a world famous comic artist. Backey, remember the name Backey? He never mentioned it to me. He was neighbor. Oh, no way, man! If you knew, you'd have bought all his comics and got them signed. Crack! How are you doing? Pretty amazing collection came up for sale in town here recently, and it was a copy of Love and Rockets #1. Nice. The self-published issue, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Did you win it? It was a copy, and did you win it? Crack! Did you get it? It's expensive, a few $100, if not more, right? Kareem. Is it Kareem? Oh my god, what is that? Billy Wall. Oh, you're doing biggies. Money, more money, more problems, man. More money, more problems. That's funny. Kareem. I gotta get back into listening to Biggie. I used to loop Biggie, Tupac, and SPM so much. Hilarious. Cream. Cash rules everything around me. How does it go? Cash rules everything around me. Or is that Wu-Tang? Man, I keep on forgetting my thing. No, Cream. Hold on, who? Cash rules everything around me. That's got to be Biggie. I'm getting messed up. Jack Slice on my one of my sets. Yeah, oh, it was Wu-Tang. It was Wu-Tang. Goddamn, biggie. Yeah. Wu-Tang. I saw who have I seen? I've seen like 2 or 3 of them. I've seen RZA at a show years ago. So, and Dead Prez, I saw Dead Prez was amazing, man. Yeah, Wu-Tang. Gentlemen. Jack Slice, one of my sets is 100 push-ups. California Remark. Salutations, hope you're doing well. Correct. I saw it. I couldn't afford it. The condition it was in, I wouldn't be surprised if it graded around 8 or 9. Wow, which go for around 1,000 Canadian. I'd be damn. I would, you know what? I wouldn't mind getting my hands on a copy of number 1. I pay a fair penny for it. All right, but by the way, crack, I got some more comics coming. Some really sweet stuff. I'm building up my comic book because people were saying, how come you're not doing comic book calls? I said, build up a little bit of funds, right? Cream, get the money. Yo, dollar bills, yo. Y'all. Busta Rhymes. Chicho, are you going to stream next week during the US elections? I think we're going to do Tuesday night. Maybe starting around 7:30, 8 o'clock, but I can't promise. But I think so. I want to do a comic book reading either this Friday or Sunday, maybe, when there isn't construction. And we're going to read Palestine, I think, Joe Sacco's Palestine. I knew Baby Knights is asking, did you get around to watch the 3-hour Trump interview with Joe Rogan? It got 20 million views in like 15 hours. Crazy. Yeah, Baby Knights, I knew someone was going to come in and ask it. I would plan on watching it, but I haven't watched it, and I don't know if I'll watch it. And I actually haven't seen any segments yet either. But Cliff High was mentioning this, and the only reason I want to watch it, or I wanted to watch it, was Cliff High was saying it's a marker for him. It's a marker. I'm like, okay. But just looking at what's going on with the RNC, did you see Giuliani's little segment speech? I'm with Israel. What a piece of like. The guy's an idiot, but man, you're that much of an idiot? Like, how much jizz did you swallow? How long were you on your knees with that Zionist masters to get you to do that? Is crazy. Crack Beauty, I was listening to your reading stream late last night while I was sorting out the comic room. Nice. Yeah, the buys I've made in the last few weeks have been fantastic. I've filled up, got some stuff off my check mark. You'll see the next one. You'll see. You're gonna love it. Elder God, the court played me short. Now I face incarceration. Panic going up states my. Oh, that's the lyrics. The court played me short. Now I face incarceration. Panic going up state my destination handcuffed in back of a bus. 40 of us. Life as a shorty shouldn't be so rough, but as the world turns, I learn life is hell. Living in the world no different from a cell. Every day I escape from Jake's giving chase, selling base smokes, bones in the case, in the staircase. Man, I don't have my lyric reading vibe in. Sleepaway Chicho, if you hypothetically had 100K to invest in this crazy market, or at times highs at a cross, what would you invest? What would I invest? I buy there's some dividend stocks which are not bad. Symbol MO, Altera Group, is a cigarette company. Gives around 8% yield. It was a great buy when it was down at 39 40 bucks, like 6 months ago. Still a good buy at around 50, but I expect a correction to occur. Dollar General has collapsed down to 10-year lows or something like this, giving a yield of 3%. There are other yielding stocks, and gold and silver. Gold and silver. Also, Chicho, I like these later streams. I can join after work. Nice. 3 hours of Trump is crazy. Miss Bloom has Chicho. Do you know anything about the mathematics of ranked choice voting? Is it worth it? Oregon is voting on it this election. Yeah, I prefer. I've looked at it before. There's multiple ways they can do it. You know, you give your first 4 choices, 3 choices, and then if your first candidate doesn't win, the votes get tallied to the next one. So it's more representation. It gives you more representation, and it prevents majority governments in large part, which is a good thing in my opinion. Less centralization, but it depends what kind of proportional representation and stuff like this, or ranked choice voting and whatnot. Talk about illiterate, uneducated fool. I'm so pro Israel nonsense. Yeah, Lord Mark, crazy. Elegant, sorry, no. Boom. Gold is at an all-time high, though. Yeah, gold is an all-time high, and it's being suppressed while it's on an all-time high. Agreed. Silver is not an all-time high, as long as the laughing donkey doesn't get it. Yeah, I agreed with that. Miss Boone says, okay, I was thinking it allowed the voters to have more say, which I like. Yeah, Miss Boone has. That's the way I look at it as well. Right? Less centralization. Just read some stuff on CensorTube. Crack beauty. Crack. I watch a YouTube show. Crack. I watch a YouTube show by a channel called Do Dissidents, and they showed clips of the Trump Rogan chat. I haven't even seen any clips yet. Crazy, eh? Weird. Gentleman Hedgie, Zelda got 34 years going, doing martial arts. Push-ups become normal. This Britain, whose fart is in a jar? Would you rather buy off eBay, Stommer or Biden? Funny, but going near 80. Jack Slice hit 69k today and is forming a bull flag on the 15-minute and a W pattern on the 1 hour charts. Jack Slice regarding Bitcoin. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. Steve Chicho, what do you mean gold is being suppressed? Precious metals are naked shorts are being sold on them by a lot of Wall Street institutions and stuff like this, hedge funds and whatnot. If there's ever a short cover for gold and silver, you're gonna see one of the greatest bull runs in human history, right? Sizemore, thoughts on potentially finding life on Europa in the next few years. First time in stream, long time viewer, great to speak with you. Salutations, Sizemore. Life on Europa in the next few years, I don't see it in the next few years. I think right now, to have major space exploration, there has to be the funds to do that, and the ingenuity to do that, and the resources to do that, and the backing to do that. But right now, on this Carl Sagan say pale blue dot floating through space, right? We have fanatics, warmongers, bureaucrats, politicians, Wall Street pushing for war and destabilizing regions. So a lot of funding is going in that direction instead of space exploration. Sure, a lot of space exploration and stuff like this, the technology that we see right now that we use came from military industrial complex, but that's after the fact, after it becomes civilian use and stuff like this. I think we're in a pickle as far as the species goes, because we still haven't figured out how to manage our own lives and prevent so much destruction taking place. Right now we're going through a purge, a reckoning that's not going to be inducive to creating. Unfortunately, I wish, Sizemore, I wish I had better perspective on it, but I don't see it. I don't see it. And I'm someone that wanted to go study astronomy, right? I went geophysics because it was more practical. I could get a job and make money instead of looking at the stars and being dependent on bureaucracy and what do you call it, universities for employment, right? Now look, watching continuum is giving me the creeps about corporate social control in the future. The term life debt is used often in future to keep the citizens under control. I want to start watching it right now. Actually, Elder God, we're watching Person of Interest. We're about to finish the first season of Person of Interest because you guys recommended it, and it's not bad. There's lots of holes in the storytelling. Like one of the ones we watched last night, they found a camera, and the main guy who wrote the program is looking at the camera. Yeah, they got this room wired. Yeah, they can see everything, and he's right in front of the camera. Like, dude, what's going on here? So there's lots of holes, but I can see it's enjoyable, right? I don't like the holes too much though. Sizemore, I asked because NASA sent the Clipper Explorer out on October 14th. It's estimated to reach Europa in 2030. Let's hope we make it to see it then. Yeah, I'm with you, Sizemore. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Yeah, double fingers crossed, right? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Just imagine what we could do in space instead of waging war, instead of giving these crazies power, right? Crazy. The no pill man between cultural Christians, Zionists, and takfiris. What is it? It is fair to say that the funnies are having a rave. They are. Netflix removes Palestine. Netflix removes stuff. Fuck Netflix. Hollywood, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, like parasites. Sleepaway Chicho, I've been thinking about retirement and saving in a 401k, but given everything I've learned with you, I feel like the route is crazy to take. I'm afraid I will save money into a 401k, and by the time I retire in 30 years, the US government will have fully collapsed. Thoughts on retirement for you, G people and G people? Yeah, Elgod, if you like personally, like, you know, there's Canada pension and stuff in my, but I don't expect to collect any pension from Canadian pension or for it to be able to buy anything. Like, one of the reasons I do these comic book buys, gang, like, let's get this clear. I love comic books. I love reading comic books. I think the human artifact of it is absolutely amazing. I do it because it's part of my repertoire right now. You know, I do comic book hauls, I do comic book show and tell, I do comic book readings, we do comic book framings, we do the spreadsheet for comic books so we can do math. So I use comic book hauls as investing in this project that I'm doing in my spiel, I guess, right? Because I'm going to use some of this data to create a module to show how you can invest in comic books. So it's part of my work, it's part of my expense in doing this work. However, it's also an investment. Like Sleepy Waves, I invest in collectibles, right? I invest in collectibles, hard assets, silver, gold, collectibles, right? I don't get into real estate is because government controls real estate, right? I can't pack up my real estate and go move somewhere. I have to deal with the government. I have to deal with licensing. I have to deal with taxes. I have to deal with government changing the rules on you, right? I have to deal with bank interest rates, right? So it's tangible items that are semi-liquid, right? It's not like the stock market. I could press a button and liquidate all my assets, all the stocks, right? However, it stands the test of time, right? In terms of retaining its value and hopefully increasing in value, instead of having cash where the cash depreciates, or stocks where Wall Street, where it's a shit show, other than the top stocks that everybody's in. But once everybody tries to leave at the same time, you're going to see certain stocks take a 70% haircut, 80% haircut. We've already seen some of those things, right? Look at Dollar General. That was 2 years ago, it was trading at, or take PayPal, because we're short PayPal when it was like $300, right? Had puts on it. PayPal went from $300 down to $50, right? Okay, do the math. 50 over 300 is 5 over 30. It's 1/6 the value that it was before, right? Take a look at Dollar General. That was, you know, what the hell was it, $240 like last year. Right now it's trading at 80. At 80, not a bad buy. At $240, that's triple what it is now, right? So once some of these big companies start taking haircuts and everybody tries to leave the room at the same time, you're gonna see the shit at the fan, right? That also can happen with comic books, with collectibles and stuff like this as well, but those are more tangible, right? You can still, they have double or multi-use purpose. A stock doesn't have double or multi-use purpose. The most it could do is have a double usage where the value goes up and you collect dividends. If you're really tech savvy or stock market savvy, then you can start selling calls on it if it's going up, selling puts on it, right? Writing puts as it's moving up, so you collect a little extra from there and stuff like this. But that takes time. Taking your money and blindly putting it into a fund and walking away, don't do it with all your money. You can do it with some of your money, right? But I've known people that say, oh yeah, the best thing you can do is buy land, it always goes up in value. That's a fallacy. That's bullshit, right? Buy stocks, they always go up in value. Tell that to Enron, tell that to people who had Xerox, tell that to people who had multiple Norton networks, right? So you have to be vigilant in your investments, right? That's what you need to do. And as we've always said, diversify. Invest in yourself first and foremost. Eat good food, right? Get your skills that you need to be able to function as best as you can. Make sure you can multitask. You can do different types of jobs if the need arises, right? If all of a sudden one of your opportunities for job making money is cut, disappears, last 4 years mandates and stuff, make sure you have another avenue where you can generate revenue. Make sure right now, if you're living your life and you only have one source of income, the investment that you're going to make is to make sure you have at least 2 sources of income, preferably 3 sources of income. They all don't have to be equal, right? This one could be 80% of your income, and these ones each could be 10%, or preferably this one could be 60, and each one of these 20%. But if the 60% is cut, the 40% that's left over is still going to keep a roof over your head and have you fed, right? It's going to be difficult for all 3, or rare for all 3 to be cut at the same time, unless you're not healthy, you have health issues, which is one of the reasons you should eat healthy. So instead of taking money and put an RSP 401k that you can collect 30 years from now, and you're eating processed food because it's cheaper, I don't know if it is or not, but it's cheaper. I don't eat too much processed food, right? Take some of that money, start buying fresh food and do cooking. Learn how to cook, right? Because most bankruptcies in Canada, United States, occur because people have health issues, right? Either they can't work anymore, so even if they have 3 sources of income, they're cut, they got no money coming in, or their hospital bills go through the roof. So if you eat healthy and you exercise, that's the biggest investment you can make in your life, right? Do a little bit of meditation so you don't mentally break down. That's another investment into your health, but your mental health, right? You can get into spiritual and stuff like this. It's not just about the stock market, 401ks and shit like this. Diversify everything. You need to break your programming, right? You need to break your programming. I know so many people that think investing means putting money in the stock market, and they eat McDonald's. There's nothing left to be said to those people, really, aside from what I just said. Right? Dancing vigil, you gotta go. Salute dancing vigil. In space won't be seen or experienced by most of us, purely for the elite classes. Maybe crack, maybe crack. My Quran recitation, Chicho. Do you know about Gog and Magog? Just curious if so, what is your thought? Gog and Magog, are those the yin and yang and the god and devil stuff? I can't remember. I've heard the terms, but I can't. The occult stuff. Kernau, Patsy, Cornish Corsair. Please check out Bob Mora's cartoon drawing from UK. They're brilliant. I don't know them. Link it up on our Matrix server. Here's our Matrix server. Link it up there. Mimit. What's up, guys? Nice to catch the stream. Nice to have you, Mimit. Ali, how are you doing? Stop unnecessary buying, unless it's an investment, right? Oh, Eldegoss says it. Sleepaways, by the way, Eldegoss says it well. Holes get filled, right? Patoink. Why invest in space until we get our societies in check? Too much addiction and inequality in our Earth before we need to go to Mars, because a lot of things are easier in space. Manufacturing is, from what I understand, could be a lot cheaper and a lot easier in space, because there's tremendous amount of resources in space, from water to minerals, rare earth elements and stuff like this. We could mine asteroids, we could set up colonies, we could explore new planets. No, there's a lot to be done in space, right? Like manufacturing would be, once it's set up, the cost of setting up would be enormous, but once it's set up, it's a lot cheaper from what I understand, right? And that's been known for a long time. Long time. Ryan MC, I'm taking a long lunch break right now at work. How is life? Doing good, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. Recitations, haha, that is what I thought. And many from my relatives insanely think they are from North Pole, but I think it's modern Western civilization personally. My favorite planet. Have you heard of the Gold Reserve Act of 1934 USA? I think they seized it, but they didn't go into knocking on people's houses to seize the gold. They seized the gold that was in bank vaults, right, in people's safety deposit boxes and stuff like this. And if they try that again, I'm pretty sure the guns are going to come shooting. There's going to be a lot of tar and feathering coming on, so I don't think it'll work. Ryan, Mr. Musk seems to be one of the only business leaders thinking about these things. That's because he's getting a lot of his money from Pentagon and the government. Like Elon Musk's Tesla and SpaceX, they're funded by taxpayers, right? They're funded by taxpayers. So, you know, take it however way you want. Size more. I'm still reprogramming. Can be scary sometimes, can be very scary sometimes. I had to do it to me, right? It was incredible learning all that stuff. Elgod, I have invested heavy into foreign companies and have created international bank accounts, which is a great way to go as well, but it takes a lot of doing, right? It takes a lot of doing. Aligot, the UK is going to implode. My future is elsewhere. Yeah, I think UK is going to go. Aligot, Chicho rules economics and agriculture methodology. My new cream. Chicho rules economic and agricultural methodology. Hilarious. Cream. And learn how to grow food. That's one of the things for sure. Homeless robot. Whoever invented the knock knock joke really deserves a Nobel prize. Nobel prize. Hilarious. He should be that person should have been a trillionaire, right? Collect a couple of cents from everyone telling the joke, knock knock joke. Recitations. King Charles altercation was weird with Senator of New Zealand. She referenced bones and skulls, and that was very strange to me, as it's crazy secret society. Yeah, I don't know what the interaction was. I don't follow King Charles's doings. I couldn't give a rat's ass about what royalties do, aside from the people dealing with them accordingly, right? Meat. Time to jar this year's harvest. Nice. Didn't have spider mites, but some butt rot this year. Did you? Mine are still drying. No butt rot. Pretty good. I got them hanging right here. We didn't get too much this year. This is the lowest harvest I've had in a few years anyway. So in the last 4 consecutive years, this is the lowest harvest. That's it's pathetic compared to like last 2 years anyway. But it is what it is. Oh my god, making foreign contracts is the best way to acquire foreign assets. I make sure you have a valid passport. That's another thing. Warm and loose. You think we can go mountain man and live way up North Canada? Go no. Warm and loose. I don't think so. I think man-made global warming is a major hoax. It's just a cash grab. It's like, this is coming from geophysicists. I studied this stuff. It's a joke. Like, anybody that's pushing that shit is low IQ, little rat. And for some reason, and some people are pushing that stuff, even though they don't trust centralized power. They don't trust government. They say government lies. Government wages war. There are a lot of corrupt people in government. These bureaucrats are making our lives hell. Politicians are bought and paid for. And then they put out this data. They want carbon tax them. They go, yes, carbon tax me. Yes. Save climate for grandma. Or sorry, save climate for grandchildren. Like, the lowest IQ. Like, it's so stupid now. It's so stupid now that is beyond making fun of anymore. The joke's done. It's hilarious. Meats, I didn't get that much either, but homegrown is always the best. Here's last year's. Thornsberry 2023. I got 90 grams total last year in 2023, and this is just one of the brands that we grew four different strains, right? And still have this much left. And this was 36 grams, and I've gone through this much of the second jar. It was full, I think, and there's the rest of this in another jar. And we have, like, we went through the Durban poison like crazy, man, because it was so delicious, right? So it was really good. Miss Boone has 90 grams, 90 G. The one plant gave us 90 G, so divide by 28, so about 3 ounces. We got a little bit over 3 ounces, right? It was good. Thornsberry is pretty good, but Durban poison was the best. This year we grew a little bit of Durban poison. It was great. Gentleman edgy. Starmer's released the sausage's slip was probably connected to Charles' fat fingers. Mimi, it's nice to see everyone growing in Germany now that it's no longer illegal. Nice, nice. Yeah, it's nice growing in Canada. Like fantastic. Warm and loose. Absolutely love Durban. Yeah, I can't wait to. We've already tasted a little bit of it. I picked a little bit before because it was broken stem or something, and it wasn't fully, crystallized and stuff. It was really good. I'm gonna start trying it soon, right? Alga Chicho, I made friends in Mongolia before I invested. They helped me to acquire a bank account and I helped them with stuff as well. Nice, nice. So you went to Mongolia? Yeah, Mongolia is a safe haven, like big time, right? Miss Boone has recently tried Granddaddy Perp, and I'm sad because now I have to spend more money on weed. It's great. Is it good? Granddaddy Perp. I don't know what Granddaddy Perp. I don't know what it is. Mimits. But someone in your harvest stream said they pay like 800 plus for an ounce in Germany. That person is surely getting ripped off. They must be. That 800 plus euros for an ounce. Maybe that was for a pound. Miss Spoon has Granddaddy Perp is a top shelf indica. Okay, indica in the couch chilling. Nice, nice, very smooth, nice flavor. I haven't tried. There's so many different strains out there. Alga Chicho, I couldn't possibly confirm that I have been to Mongolia. Haha. Funny, funny. I thought about a long time ago investing in Cuba, but you couldn't buy any property in Cuba unless you were a Cuban, right? You could have bought back in the 90s. I couldn't believe it. My jaw dropped when I found out how much property was in Cuba. You could have bought a house, beachfront house with land, like beachfront. You're on you're on the beach, beautiful beach with big land for like $5,000 US in Cuba in the 90s. I asked around, they said no, if you're not a Cuban you can't buy a house, because if Cuba allowed foreigners to buy houses in Cuba, then Cubans wouldn't have homes. And that made sense to me. Now try to make that argument with Canadians or Americans or any other country that allows foreigners to buy property in their country. That puts out the citizens of that country into the streets, right? But the banks love it, the governments love it. So there's a communist country, you can call it communist, it's socialist really, Cuba, or it was way more in the 90s than it is now, protecting the citizens of that nation from what is it, Wall Street capitalism, really. Because if they allowed it, I would have bought like 5 pieces of property in different parts in Cuba in the 90s, right? Yeah, pound would be more reasonable. Oh god, I couldn't possibly. Okay, cool. So I don't know, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. More bread and water. Saving them from homelessness. Yeah, yeah. But in Canada, is one of the largest international money laundering countries in the world. Okay, and it was a lot more a few years ago. It's a little bit less now, but because of certain regulations they passed. But it's just a money laundering mechanism. There was like hundreds of millions of dollars coming into Canada buying real estate, billions coming into Canada buying lots of real estate and just sitting on it, and then laundering it either through the casinos, through the real estate market, or through apartment buildings and stuff like this, washing it and then going back to where it was going. Like crazy. The banks loved it, government loved it, Because when real estate prices continue to go up, governments, cities, provinces, regions, federal government gets more tax revenue, right? So they get more money coming in. So governments always want inflation, because that is a Ponzi scheme, right? They borrowed money, you'll never be able to pay back the original, you're just servicing the interest, and they need more and 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 more taxes, right? And that's what centralization does. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh my God. Actually, it was Americans who couldn't buy land, and a few others. I remember a guy buying land who was from somewhere in Cuba. No, in Cuba, I looked at as a Canadian, I couldn't buy land. Americans couldn't travel to Cuba, and I don't think they can right now either. But in the 90s, they had to go to Canada to go to Cuba and stuff like this. But as a Canadian, I couldn't buy land in Cuba. Maybe Mongolia you can. I don't know in Japan. I've heard real estate prices are really low in Japan. So Japan would be an amazing place. Like the prices I heard for property in Japan was really low, like really low. I heard you could buy a house there for $150,000 in a small town in Japan, and here in Canada, the land without a house is probably like $300,000 in a small town in Canada, like no house, right? So oh my God, I've been to Japan. It was beautiful. Yeah, I've known a lot of Japanese. I've had some Japanese friends. I've had friends that go to Japan and whatnot. I've lived there. I have friends living in Japan, and they rave about it. Safe, very safe. And house prices, I couldn't believe it when this friend of mine, she quoted me the price. She said $150,000 for a nice house in a small town in Japan. That sounded amazing to me. Sleepaways. Cuban is going through a really hard time right now. Yeah, I know, sleepy waves. Yeah, but many countries are, and it's going to get a lot harder. It's going to get a lot harder. Warm or loose. I think material is expensive in Japan. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are expensive in Japan for sure. Japan imports a lot of things, right? Japanese work culture is terrible though. Yeah, but Flying Kiwi, you don't have to join their corporate machine, right? They have high-speed internet, they got high tech, safe place to live, family structure in large part, and if you want to be an adult and play, there's lots of play for adults as well, right? And you could do something that's not associated with corporate structure, right? Like for me, I could do what I do here in Canada in Japan. I could live stream, I could teach mathematics, and my partner being a nurse, she could be a nurse, so we could do, right? We could do. Kane Hunter, my daughter is learning Japanese right now, but she's put on an accent for some reason. Now she sounds like a 90s anime character. Bless her. Hilarious. Funny. No funny. Miss Balloon House. I had a Spanish professor that sneakily did vacation in Cuba with a group. Nice. He offered any student who wanted could come, but it's illegal. Crazy offered that. Who knows what they were doing? Yeah. One thing you could do in the 90s when you were traveling to Cuba, like Americans, I met Americans that went there. They would come to Canada, and then when they went to Cuba, they would, on their passport, they would tell the Cubans not to stamp the passport, right? And they wouldn't, because they knew, right? So they just wouldn't stamp the passport. Back then, they could still, the government could still track you and figure out where you went, but it was, it was a little bit extra work, I guess, right? But right now, you travel anywhere as a citizen of any country, in a Western country, they know exactly where you've gone, how many times they've taken a poop. So if you do something that the government doesn't want, they could come after you if they so desire. So unless you go get a dual citizenship. Steel Lord of Iron, thank you very much for the prime sub. 17 months. Salute, salute, salute. Chicho, when shit is the fan, I'm moving to Colombia. Level out. Currently building my farm. Very nice. That's a great investment. Sleepy Waves, like, that's an amazing investment. Why are you concerned about a 401k and stuff? Oh my god, Japan's Muslim population is less than 1%. Yeah. What do they have there? Korea has Moonies. Moonies are crazy. 17 months. Fun. But Steepways, building a farm in Colombia is good, but make sure you also, you know, you don't owe too much money on it. Plant some fruit trees right away, right? If there is rainfall, regular rainfall, it takes a while for fruit trees to grow. You'll start getting your harvest, right? Steel of our greetings from a shite airport hotel. No way, is that where you are? God, I used to travel a lot in the 90s, 80s and 90s. I loved it for a long time, and then I didn't like it. I didn't want to check into the hotels and stuff like this, and getting on planes, man, suck. Shite airport hotel. Hilarious. Alex Smith on CensorTube. Hey Chicho, just came. Did you comment on the truck attack on IDF base bus stop? No, I haven't yet. I came across it through Ryan Dawson yesterday or day before, I think. It was yesterday or day before, I think. And from what he said, they took out, it was a pretty big attack. They took out some IDF soldiers, wounded a few more, I guess, took out some buildings and stuff like this. But what I found interesting, I haven't had a chance to dig into it anymore, right? But what I found interesting was that it was a new faction joining the fray, that was a Saudi faction, not related to the House of Saud, not related to the government of Saudi Arabia, but resistance group that has decided to join the fray and attack Israel. Israel's in deep shit. Israel is in deep shit, rightfully so. They're committing genocide. Any nations and peoples that commit genocide on a level that they come out and they're not even hiding it, they're saying that they want to commit genocide, deserves to be knocked down, right? Dealt with accordingly, in kind, right? Not genocided, but you can't allow them to genocide another people, right? Ryan, quote, the most moral army this world has ever known. Maybe they live in hell. Maybe they're the most moral army in hell, right? Because by all accounts and by any standard of human morality, they're demons, right? And not intelligent demons and wise demons that manipulate. They're demons on a sadistic, masochistic, like, vile nature. It's vomit inducing. Like I have no idea how Israelis will ever live this down. I really don't see it. Maybe it'll take 100 years for people to look at Israelis and go, oh yeah, you guys are part of the human race. Wow, who knew? Look at the shit you did 100 years ago, right? Kane Hunter, Daniel Weiss speech about selling all of Gaza was sickening. I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it. Eldegon, my parents are currently in Australia, still haven't received the kangaroo ranger. I hope they don't get near kangaroos. Kangaroos can be vicious, man. Have you seen those monsters? Holy shit. Maybe the axis of resistance in the Middle East should generate an army of kangaroos and send them into the send them across the border to take care of those Zionists, right? Oh my God, Israel is the Sarajevo match which will spark World War III. I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think it's already sparked. We just haven't recognized it yet. Anatole, yellow. Salutations. Hope you're doing well. Demonic flight. Still around. Oh God, I'm traveling for a conference and staying the night before I wait for some others tomorrow. Hope the conference is worth it, right? Crack. Chris Hedges had a good chat with John Mirsha. Yeah, I watched about 15 minutes of it. I haven't watched the whole thing about that exact thing, how this will affect Israel long term. Many people are coming out and now saying this, that Israel's goose is cooked. Like, we'll never be able to live this down. The Israelis are now no longer welcome around the world, in very few places, actually. Brutal. Warm and loose. Nothing new for them. Many ites have been slaughtered in the Old Testament. Yeah, pretty brutal God, that Old Testament God, isn't it? Right? Ruthless, almost like a Zionist, isn't he? Alex Smith. One topic I want to discuss with you on is regarding freedom of speech. I don't think speech should be fully free. There are pros and cons, of course, but I think unregulation is a big issue. I don't think so. I think freedom of speech means exactly that, Alex. Freedom of speech. You're allowed to think what you want to think. You're allowed to say what you want to say, as long as you're not actively attacking someone, right? And swearing at someone is not attacking someone. Swearing at someone is swearing at someone. As long as you're not harassing them, you're not going to their house, following them around and yelling at them, then that's freedom of speech. You need to have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is the same thing as freedom of thought, right? If there's a saying that says, if you disagree with freedom of speech, it just means you don't have anything important to say, right? Ivanhoe, salute from CensorTube. Salute. I have to be honest, Eldegoss says, I've never seen a Jew in my life. Eldegoss, serious? I've seen many. Even dating some. Odino, is Zionism finished? The veil on Zionism has been lifted. Zionism, the pretense that Zionism is Judaism, is gone, right? Majority of the world now understands that Zionism is not Judaism, right? And Zionists are psychopaths. Not everyone. Last weekend, the weekend before, I was at a party where this girl that I've known, right? She even has her master's, right? We were talking. He said, "I'm a Zionist." I'm like, "What? So you believe in genocide and mass murder and rape of men, women, and children?" She's like, "Chicho, I don't think we should be having this conversation." I go, "What the fuck?" Like we got cut off. We couldn't continue the discussion. Like I was going to, but my partner cut us off, right? She entered the conversation, so we stopped talking about that. But I was gonna tell her that her saying that she's a Zionist, that's like a German in the 1930s saying that I'm a Nazi, but not knowing what Nazis are, thinking that Nazi means Germany, like German. Like I was gonna turn to her and say, your definition of Zionist and some people's definition of Zionist is this: that Jews should have their own country, right? But the true definition of Zionism is Jews should have their own country by any means necessary, while genociding and mass murdering the indigenous population, right? And fuck humanity, because they consider anybody else that's not Zionist not to be human, right? So people are messed up. Like they're, you know, they have pieces of paper saying I'm intelligent, I've gone through university, I got this, but they got zero common sense. They consume corporate propaganda, and they're really just NPCs. They don't have integrity, they don't have humanity, they don't have empathy, they don't have compassion. The only thing they know is what they're told to know, right? To memorize. It's like part of the education system. Memorize this, right? Don't think, just memorize this, right? That's why one of the reasons we need freedom of speech. Slander, slander, sure, we have laws that prevent people from slandering others, for sure, Alex, right? You can't go around public and start pointing a finger and say that's a murderer, that's a murderer, that's a murderer, that's a rapist, that's a rapist, because you have to prove it, right? You, like, there's already laws in place for certain illegal acts. You can't take away freedom of speech because there are certain laws that already deal with those kinds of crimes, right? Peyton Cantel, your words should have natural consequences, not manufactured ones from the government. Well said, Python. Piton. Sizemore. Piton nailed it, I think. I think so too, Sizemore. Yeah. I'll read it again. Piton Cantrell, your words should have natural consequences, not manufactured ones from the government. Well said. Michael Rojas, isn't that her freedom of speech? To say she's a Zionist, is that the one? I'm sorry, I think I read your comment too late to connect it to something I said. You for them. Apparently it's 20-1 kangaroo on human in Oz. 20-1 kangaroos, wow, that's a lot of good. Well, I don't know if you can eat kangaroo. I think people eat kangaroo. Warm and loose, nothing new for them. Many elites have been slaughtered in the old time. Yeah, I have to be honest, freedom of thought is in danger in UK. Yeah, freedom of thought in Canada too. First time chat. Fire. Did you guys talk about Georgia already with the elections? Yeah, they, well, no, we haven't talked about it, but the opposition, which is really color revolution puppets that have been put into place by NATO and the Western world, are holding demonstrations today. I think Orban is going to Georgia, is either there now or going there tomorrow or something like this, and they've congratulated the winners. So Georgia is facing a color revolution, right? Again, but this time it's going to be like they're trying to make it like a Maidan Square coup, like a Ukraine style. But I don't think they're going to be able to succeed in Georgia. Yeah, Aldegod says it every day. My thoughts translate to text are deleted on CensorTube. Yeah, CensorTube is deleting my own comments on my own channels when I reply to people. Me replying to people on my own channel on CensorTube, and just generic replies. Someone long replies, like provide links, they get deleted. So slowly, at some point, I'm still making comments. I said I wasn't going to make long comments, but there's some trolls, Zionist trolls. And by the way, gang, do you guys know if someone commenting on your channel can prevent you from replying to them? Because there's these Zionist trolls that come on my channel. I mean, they're either IDF agents or whatever in Israel, and some of them have learned that, I think it's CensorTube deleting them, but maybe they've blocked me from replying to them. So they're posting comments on my videos and I reply to them, it doesn't show up. So either they've blocked me from posting them, they can't delete my own comments, or they're mass flagging it and then CensorTube is removing it, or CensorTube is just removing it. Either way, they've eliminated free speech on my own channel. Alex, that's one of the reasons freedom of speech is very important, right? Audience says, how long will Zionism last, and on what does it depend? Zionism, is going to be looked upon in the same way as Nazis are looked upon now, right? That's what Zionists are. They're genocidal psychopaths, right? So Zionism is not going to last past. It will be there as a cult, so be careful, right? But as a Zionist nation, Israel will not exist as a Zionist nation. It has to become secular, and it has to be open to all peoples. That's the way it has to be. They've shown their true colors. They're psychopaths. They're genocidal, right? Alex Smith 1. Is your vision of freedom of speech manifested in any government around the world too? Should news agencies speaking fake news be allowed to do so? It's not slander, but still extremely harmful. Alex, during the Obama administration, they passed a law saying that mainstream corporate media can lie to the public. So CNN, ABC, MSNBC, Fox, PBS, NPR, all these organizations, institutions are lying to citizens of the United States and the world, right? Under Obama, this came to be, right? And as far as I'm concerned, let them do whatever the hell they want, right? Government cannot be the arbiters, the referees of what truth is, because governments lie. Centralized power has always lied. So you can't have the people that are lying to you being the guardians of what truth is. You can't have that. That's crazy. Spencer, if you were American, would you vote for Trump? I will vote for Jill Stein, tell you the truth. I wouldn't vote for Trump or Biden, Harris, right? That's what I would do. Or I would go there and piss on my ballot, like not literally piss on it, but spoil it, right? Bert Comics, hey Chicho, big fan of your videos. Always miss your stream though, and I know you don't read modern comics, but you ever thought about reading Keanu Reeves' Berserker? I have it. I have some of the original. If I read a Keanu Reeves comic, it would be John Wick, and I have the John Wick. I have all the John Wick series that came out, and #1 issue. I have all the variant issues up to 1 in 10. I don't have the other ones because I didn't get them. That is rare. But I would read John Wick. I wouldn't read Berserker. That's the one I would read, and I would have to find it again. And those comics, John Wick comics, are fetching a fair bit. But I did buy some of the Berserker comics when it first came out, right? Bird comic. Don't know how anyone could vote for Kamala. Her laughter destroys my brain. Yeah. Just vomit inducing, right? Just vomit inducing. First time chat on says on Twitch. Skill Stone Player. Hi Chicho and chat. Glad to see you outside of YouTube. Nice to have you on Twitch. Lots of people mistake freedom of speech with freedom of consequence. Yeah. It's weird. They just they want to prevent speech they don't like, and they think that's okay. That's just weird. Like, what? It's like why do you travel? Why do people like traveling? A lot of libtars and low IQ red rat. Well, we love traveling to other nations. Why do you like traveling? Because of diversity. Because they have different thoughts, different foods, different cultures, right? They have different opinions. You can't just censor opinions. Wait, there's John. Oh yeah, Burnt Comics. There's John Wick comics. They came out a year or 2 years before Berserker comics, and not very many people were buying the John Wick comics when they came out. I had a poll that's actually been like, it was 2 years before Berserker, so about 4 or 5 years ago maybe. I went to, because I would get the, what do you call it, the diamond catalog, so I would flip through that every month from the comic book store, because I had a pull box there. I would tick off what I want. I saw John Wick. I went to my comic book store and I said, I want all the covers, all the covers, all the covers, all the covers. And he's like, oh, okay. And he didn't order that many. I ended up buying, you know, about a third of the books that he bought because he didn't order that many. And the covers are amazing, fantastic covers, right? Spencer, speaking of, have you read the manga Berserk Chicho? I read, I think, one or two long time ago, so I don't know it. I don't know it, but I do like it. I do like it. I've watched some of the anime long time ago. Again, long time ago. Oh god, I was called a fascist Nazi racist in London on Saturday. After a short hesitation I replied, wrong guy, wrong fucking century. At least you had a nice comeback. Protest live today. Friday, you watched the protest live in Georgia? How did it go? Hopefully there was no violence. Oh my god, kangaroo steak is tasty? Really? Kangaroo steak is so tasty. I'm assuming it doesn't have too much fat, right? Yeah, Elder God, look into Georgia. There's stuff going on there. Yeah, yeah. What do you think will happen to Elon Musk if Kamala wins? Nothing. I don't think anything will happen to Elon Musk. I think they're just going to go through investigations. Well, okay, let's say they'll go through investigations, but he's not going to be put in jail or anything like that. I think he came out and said he was going to put in jail. He's not going to be put in jail. But if Kamala Harris wins, U.S. is toast, like toast. I still don't think she has a hope in hell of winning, but you never know. You know, those ballot boxes burning and those absentee ballots coming in and those pipes breaking and counts being stopped and starting again at like 2 a.m. and you know, all those democratic things that happened in the United States in the last election. Yeah, but I don't think she's gonna win. Elegant in Georgia, Russia has just scored another victory against liberal democracy. Is that a Wikipedia entry? Hilarious. Funny. Alex Smith, should fake news be treated same as slander? It wouldn't be government being the arbiter, but courts. They determine fake news or not based on evidence. I support that. Alex, the courts right now have been co-opted, right? How many judges do you have? Have we seen what do you call it, decisions being passed down which is like what? And government fake news in the last 4 years, the biggest fake news, the people and the institutions that propagate the biggest fake, like in human history, was the government and the corporate media, right? They did it, but maybe that's their right to do it because they have freedom of speech. The problem came about, they censored other people's speech, any opposition, anyone that questioned their fake news, right? So the problem wasn't that government didn't have freedom of speech, the corporate media didn't have freedom of speech. The problem was that they censored other people's speech. That's why you need free speech. Everybody should be able to have a say to what's happening in our world, not just centralized power, right? It's not freedom, Alex. You don't want to oppose freedom of speech. You're just like, you have the right mindset, right? But your solution is the wrong solution. You're using the wrong words. You're pro free speech. You don't want to suppress free speech. What you want to do is have more free speech. That way the fake news and the false information gets drowned out with free speech. So just think about that for a second, right? You don't want less free speech, you want more free speech. Bert Comics, what's your thoughts on UK politics? Me personally, I voted reform UK. Yeah, reform, as I believe conservatives ran their course and Labour are just red conservative. Not, yeah, conservative and Labour are just garbage, and reform would have been the only vote. The only vote, as far as I know. I don't know the intricacies of the little townships and stuff, but yeah, garbage. Look at UK is effed, right? UK is done. Chicho. Right now, people are telling others to vote for the Dems because the Democrats won't fully abolish abortion and access to certain healthcare, access for HIV plus and trans people and a few other things. Basically, voting knowing that both parties are terrible in foreign policy and Zionist, but that the Dems would be slightly more open to certain things when it comes to domestic policy. Thoughts on that? Is bullshit. Sleepy waves, that's total bullshit, right? So you have to consider this. Under whose watch is one of the most horrendous genocides in human history occurring? It's the Democrats, which supported the Democrats, funding by Democrats, logistics by Democrats. How many wars have the Democrats started? How many hundreds of thousands of people have the Democrats murdered in the last 4 years they've been in power, right? So F those people are saying they'll abolish abortion, and but no, they're not abolishing abortion. They're passing it on to the states, and the states can decide what they want to happen in their state, right? And if anybody opposes it, challenge the state, right? So they're decentralizing the federal government. What they're trying to do is decentralize. That's what the Supreme Court said. It's not the responsibility, federal government's responsibility to deal with abortion. That's a state mandate. That's like Canada. In Canada, healthcare is provincial. It's not federal, right? So they came out and said the states are responsible for this. We should have never been responsible for it, right? Aside from that, anybody that's voting for Kamala is voting genocide. So hell yeah, if you're all for it, go with it. You want to see genocide? You want to support genocide? By all means, support the people who've been supporting genocide and supporting bringing us to the brink of World War III with Russia and in the Middle East. So twice since they've been in power, they've brought us to the brink of nuclear war, right? In Ukraine and now in the Middle East, right? Anybody that votes for Kamala and the Democrats is rot brain. It is lowest IQ rat you ever met in your life, and I know some of them. They are dumb motherfuckers. Dumb. Warm and loose, Kamala or Trump? There is no third option, though. I disagree. There's always other options. I'm gonna vote Maxime Bernier, People's Party of Canada, right? I'm not voting conservative or liberal or green, right? And people are saying, oh, that's throwing your vote away. No, it's not. I'm giving my support to someone with integrity, right? Party that stood for humanity, for Canadians. I'm not gonna vote for fucking a Zionist with the conservatives or psychopaths with the liberals or vomit-inducing people like the Greens and the NDP, right? Anatol. Hey Chicho, I'm really curious about your thoughts, and I'm not sure how interested you are in Turkey. Do you think Turkey's border will change in the next 50 years? And do you think there might be a Kurdish state within Turkey? I think Turkey's in deep shit. It's at a crossroads. It's very powerful, but not as powerful as Turkey thinks Turkey is. Turkey has made a lot of mistakes. Erdogan is a Zionist puppet and a piece of shit at that. Okay, and yes, I think Turkey's borders will change in the next 50 years. Turkey, if it doesn't play its cards the right way, may see itself balkanized. As for the Kurds getting a state in Turkey, I don't think the Kurds will get a state ever now, because they have proven that they are CIA Mossad agents, and no country wants to have a Zionist satellite state right next to them. Iraq doesn't want it, Turkey doesn't want it, Iran doesn't want it, Syria doesn't want it. Turks were so stupid, the Turkish leadership. Assad in Syria gave them almost everything they wanted, but they sided with the CIA and Mossad to try to take out Assad. What a bunch of idiots. Turkish leadership is got to be some of the dumbest leadership in human history. Really. Talk about making the wrong moves decade after decade after decade after decade. Right? 5 anime all time. Goofy, Berserk is in your top 5 anime all time. Really? Oh my god, John Wick is getting an animated show? No shit. Very much looking forward to that. Nice. Fire Chicho, peaceful, good vibes. All I'm scared of is planted violent protesters by Russia. By Russia, no. In Georgia, no, there won't be any violent protesters by Russia. If there's any violent protest in Georgia happening, it's going to be from EU, NATO, United States. It won't be by Russia. It won't be by Russia. Russia doesn't need it. Russia doesn't need it. XNV. People against free speech can be forced into silence by their own logic. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So, Chicho, do you think voting for Jill Stein is wasted vote? No, it's not. I won't vote for Trump or Kamala. Just the same way I won't vote for conservative or liberal or NDP or Green. Right? Miss Bloomhouse. There's a few people in the independent category in US. Nice. Vigrani. If you are the big tree, we are the small axe. Haha. Oh god, I'm going around to your neighbor to complain. Oh god, every man has a bag hanging before him, in which he puts his neighbor's vaults, and another behind him in which he sows his own. Where is that quote from? Why is it not a wasted vote though? Because just imagine, okay, just imagine, like, one of the best things that can happen in the United States, right, and in Canada, is nobody goes and votes, right? Nobody goes and votes. So all of a sudden, whatever, a few thousand people that go, or tens of thousands that go and vote, when the government, they get elected, they can't turn around and say we have a mandate because the majority of the population didn't vote, right? For example, in Australia, voting is mandatory from what I understand. And in Australia, I think on the ballot, they have a none of the above option. I don't know if they do or not, but you could spoil your ballot. I think every election should have none of the above in it, right? And then people go vote. If none of the above gets majority of the votes, right? Let's say gets 36% of the votes, while all the other parties, none of the other parties gets more than 36%. So none of the above gets most of the votes, right? And wins. Then the government is dissolved. The government can't do shit, can't do anything, and then you go through another round of what do you call it? Election process, and then you vote again, right? And let's see what the people want to happen, and let's see if any of the politicians decide to do the bidding of the people, right? This whole first past the post garbage, and there is no option to go none of the above, right? And then if you don't show up, it means you didn't care. What is that bullshit? No, give me more options. Give me more options. None of the above. None of the above, right? Even Jill Stein is not ideal, right? She came out and put out a letter saying, oh yeah, bad countries like Russia and Iran, compared them to Zionist Israel and United States and I don't know, whoever else. Even that's idiotic. Even that's idiotic, right? Kane Hunter, what do you think about the supposed comments that Trump made about having generals like AH? Who's AH? Oh, AH. I have to say AH because I don't think I know who you're talking about. Mustache Man. I can say his name on CensorTube. Okay, we can't say his name on CensorTube. Damn, maybe that's why some of my comments were deleted. Right? Yeah, I didn't hear what Trump said. Right? I think one of the lowest IQ things that I've seen is during the rally where MSNBC was saying Trump held his rally at Madison Square Gardens 80 years since the Nazis held their parade in 1934 or 1938, where the hell it was. And one of the things, a Jewish man went on stage and they tore off his clothes and beat him up, and he barely got away with his life. And that's the setting we're setting up for this rally that Trump. Oh, who listens to this to this MSNBC and CNN? Like, I know people that still listen to it, but they must be dinosaurs. Like, how many more people? Like, I I probably do know some of these woke ass little red rats that they're associates that parrot corporate media propaganda, but they must be a dying breed. Like, who listens to that? Who watches that? The only reason I saw it is because Judge Napolitano was showing it. I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, what the F? Was it Judge Napolitano? I can't remember who was saying it. It was crazy. Burnt Comics. Can't argue with Trump about wanting generals like AH because they were loyal as hell, even though Adolf was a grade A twat. Yeah, I agree. Right? Word comments. No vote is a waste. Take UK for example. Reform UK done very well, and I think a lot of people wanted to vote reform but voted Labour in fear their vote would be wasted. Indeed, like, I'll give you an example. In British Columbia, Canada, right, we just had our elections, right, and we had our elections. There were four main parties running. There's the Conservatives, there's the NDP, there was the Greens, and there was the Liberals that changed their name to United Party or something like this, all right, because they completely bombed in the last election. Now the NDP had a majority, right? It actually, let's set the stage for you, right? We had elections 5 years ago, more than that, 7 years ago or something like this, and the NDP and the Greens shared, like, the NDP got the most vote and the Green was the spoiler. So they joined a coalition and they formed a government. So it was a minority government that ruled us, right? Ruled us harsh, right? They brought in mandates, fired nurses, doctors, like horrendous people, destroyed the economy. And then in the middle of the pandemic, that the NDP and the Greens and the federal government were saying, it's the most dangerous thing that can happen. You can't go to school. You got to wear a mask. You go boom booms. People are dying, grandma dying. They called the elections 2 years early because they had handed out money up the yin yang and everybody was happy living at home, right? Not having to work, getting money given to them, right? And they voted NDP and they got a majority government. So this NDP got a majority government, right? So they ruled even harsher. They brought in laws where right now in BC, Canada, if you're a healthcare worker and you question what the government says regarding healthcare, they can bust down your door, search your house, seize your property, and put you in jail. Holy shit, right? Holy shit, right? So this government that's in power has annihilated our economy, abused healthcare worker, destroyed small business, right? Remember, they got a majority in the last election. They don't have to share power with nobody, right? That's the NDP, right? The Conservatives in the last election got 1% of the vote. 1% of the vote. So 4 years ago, coming on to 5 years, they got 1% of the vote, the Conservatives. NDP got, I don't know, whatever, let's say 45% of the vote. Greens got a little bit, but they lost the ruling thing because the NDP got majority, and the Liberals got annihilated, right? Remember this, the Conservatives got 1% of the vote. In this election, The NDP got 46 seats. The Conservatives got 45 seats so far. So they went from 1% of the vote to, I forget what it is, like almost at par with the NDP, right? So they went from 1%, let's say, to 40% of the vote, 45% of the vote. Let's count seats as percentages. 45% of the vote, or 40% of the vote, right? 1% to 40%, right? The odds are they probably won't get to rule in BC, right? Which is very unfortunate. But they went from 1% to 40%, right? Your vote is not a waste if you have monsters ruling over you, right? Vote for someone with humanity. Vote for someone that's going to bring about a change and calling out the ruling party's bullshit, right? It's not a wasted vote. And the odds are, when the NDP gets in, they rule again with the Greens. British Columbia, Canada, economically is going to be annihilated. You're going to see poverty go up the yin yang, homelessness even go more, drug abuse go hardcore, families breaking up, people leaving British Columbia. The odds are you'll see housing market collapse as well. It's gonna be a shit show. And in 4 years time, 5 years time, when we have elections, the Conservatives will most likely get a super majority and flip everything around, and you're gonna see the woke lip-tard low IQ little rats heads spin because they were possessed, and they're going to be vomiting everywhere, right? F them. Vote for who you think is doing a good job, not out of fear of someone else. Okay. Mustache man, vampires. Chase Hudson. Either way you vote, America going full speed towards fascism. I am very fearful for the future of this country. United States right now is living under fascism with the Democrats. Okay. Fascio communist state. But it's not communist because the government doesn't control everything. It's all privatized. Right? Bert Collins. I think the entire world is heading into a bad place because people are more focused on abortion rights and offensive words instead of impending nuclear doom. I agree with you, Bert Comics. 100%. 100%. Trump called Harris a very low IQ individual. Did he? Trump supports the Red Rat Protocol. Awesome. Oh, we're coming up 2 hours, gang. Let's call the stream. Garani Chicho, how is the housing situation in Canada? I heard rent is high and it's hard to find a place. Is that true? It's true. Very high. Canada is ridiculously expensive. So crazy expensive. Yeah, Trump and Kamala are both puppets. 100%. Warm and loose. I'm worried about the money. More money. ZXHTY. Any general POV on who to vote for? My brother is very Trump, and I feel I'm just indecisive and don't know enough. Then don't vote. Don't vote. Or you could just say F them all, because F them all, right? You can't vote Kamala. You can't vote Democrat. Like, no one with half a brain, like even half a brain people won't vote Democrat, right? If you have 2 brain cells, maybe you vote Democrat. Yourself, get some. Just don't vote for Kamala. Yeah, just you can't vote for Kamala. Like that's like putting the United States into a noose and hanging it. Like maybe some people want that, right? I don't. I want a prosperous United States. One of the reasons being Canada's right next door to the United States. We do most of our business with the United States. If the United States goes down, we ain't staying up. Canada's going down with you. Right? If we're going down, at least you hold us up a little bit. Right? Fun. Gang, let's call the stream. We're into 2 hours. Salutations. Fun stream. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for being here. Kamala would get lots of votes. She's quite popular among young and pro-abortion voters. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think Kamala is only popular with people with TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, right? How many people are there like that now? I don't know. Fair bit, maybe. Who knows? Gang, if you want to know what this work is about, I am writing on Chicho on my palette. Chase says hilarious. Fill in the blank. Yeah, we're gonna do a little outro. If you don't know what this work is about, we're on Patreon, Substack, Subscribe Star. You can definitely follow the work there. We do have a matrix space where you can join a little community, share information, talk freely. Free speech, free speech, free speech. We're live streaming on Twitch, on Rumble, on BitChute, and on CensorTube. But Trump to win. Yeah, I think Trump's gonna win. TDS is pretty contagious. I've seen some serious cases. Yeah, me too. Me like crazy cases. Crazy cases. Very weird. Very weird. Gang, we are recording this on a lapel mic, and the audio will be available on soundcloud.com / Chicho as a podcast, as well as Substack. Uploading the audios, whatever we upload from now on SoundCloud will be uploaded on Substack, as well as audio, as well as loading on the videos as well, the main full live streams. Anyway, gang, we're on Twitter, we're on Minds, we're on VK, we're on Truth Social, we're on Substack Notes, we're on Gap, and we are on Getter. And gang, as always, Kane Hunter says it, thank you mods, and have a good evening everyone. Thank you very much mods for being here, taking care of business, having our backs. Oh God, I'm looking at you and anybody else that was here. Salute gang. I hope you have a fantastic week. We'll be back next weekend, maybe Friday, with a Palestine reading. We'll see. Salute gang.